Hi everyone, I'm Laura and welcome to my Arts and Crafts channel. So today I'm going to be making some abstract bubbles out of one of my first attempts at an acrylic pour. It has some really cool elements in it, but I'm really not happy with the overall composition. So today I'm going to try and make some 3D bubbles with a dark background because I really want those bubbles to pop. This idea was inspired by Mii over at Mii Paintings. The materials I used for this piece include Reeves Acrylics Mars Black, Reeves Acrylics Titanium White, and Liquitex Basics Silver. I also used a Windsor&Newton 3mm brush, just a chux dishcloth, and a 40 by 50 centimeter canvas. So here I am, I'm starting with a black background, just using the dishcloth to add a bit more texture to the piece. As I kept going, I realised the cloth wouldn't be able to give me the crisp outlines that I wanted on the bubbles, so I just ended up going back in using the brush. I realised I really liked the look of layered lines using that brush, so I ended up covering a lot of the canvas using the brush this way. In hindsight, I would have really preferred a larger brush, but unfortunately I didn't have one at the time. I decided to outline the bubbles using silver with a bit of titanium white just to make the bubbles stand out a bit more. I had to go over the outline a few times to make sure the lines were actually stark and opaque because as I was outlining the bubbles, the paint started to become quite transparent. And here I'm starting to add the Mars Black to help get a 3D effect. I put a line of black right on the edge and then I dip my brush in water to blend out the colour until I have a nice rounded gradient. So this was my first go trying to make a 3D circular shape this way, so it really did take me some time. As I blended out the Mars Black, I dragged the pigment all along the edges, trying to give the illusion of depth. However, I was trying to keep the majority of the pigment right at the top of the bubble. You don't want to have too much water on your brush or you'll just end up with a puddle. If that happens, just use a clean dishcloth or hand towel to soak up the excess moisture. So here I am using just titanium white to create the reflection of light in the bubble. If I could do it again, I'd probably bring that reflection just a bit further into the bubble and away from the Mars Black. When you're doing this, make sure that the Mars Black shading is completely dry. So I've gone through and lightened the silver outline with titanium white where the light would be hitting it. It isn't showing up very well in this camera. I'm adding a little white reflection on the bottom as well, and also a soft blended bit of white following the shape of the bottom half of the circle. Oh, apparently I lost a chunk of footage here. I'm not sure how that happened, but I just continued on with all the other bubbles, just using the Mars Black and the titanium white. So before shading and using white on your 3D bubbles, you should decide where the light is actually hitting them and then keep all the shadows and highlights in that same direction, if that makes sense. So for me, I had the light source coming down from the top of the canvas. Okay, so this is how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it. It was just a fun little project for me to do with a piece that I wasn't completely happy with. Sorry about all the lighting issues and my shadow right there. I'm still trying to figure this out. I really love how the bigger bubbles turned out. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to. And if you have any tips for me, please feel free to put them in the comments.